Okay, so the title of the piece is Canis Lupus and the Logic of Pink Icing. And it's about wolves, and it's about women, and it's about motherhood, and then about wolves. So it's a way of talking about motherhood, which is something that I'm immersed in, and making an art piece, but telling it through a story of wolves and a history and a recent history of wolves. And it circulates around two pieces of work, Joseph Boyer's piece, I Like America and America Likes Me, and Frances Alice's piece called The Green Line. And it's kind of about how I can't make work like them, even though I love their pieces. The way that they make work requires them to be single people living this very bohemian, perhaps, artist lifestyle, which I can't do because I'm a parent. So I guess it's also about responsibility and how you deal with that. Is one that I prepared earlier. So the cake, I think, for me was important because there were all these constants that stayed the same. Life could be very chaotic, the day could just ramble out of control, but if you made the cake and you always stuck to the constants, so the temperature would stay the same, the ingredients would stay the same, the weights would stay the same, and if you obey the rules, the cake will always turn out perfect. And if this doesn't happen, I know for a fact that the day is not so good. And I think it's Joseph Boyers that said that you have to make art about your life, or what you're immersed in your life. Your art has to come out of that. And so therefore I kind of have to make this piece or artwork about my experiences as a parent and mother. And I think motherhood is underrepresented in the art world anyway, because a lot of women choose to follow the career path being an artist and decide perhaps that they couldn't have children as well. So therefore motherhood doesn't get represented. And I think it's good for it to have a platform in the art world, just for it to have a critique, if you like, which I don't think is out there. So there was one wolf in the park particularly who stood out. She'd been reintroduced into Yellowstone at a part when the wolves weren't doing so well. And her two mates seemed far more interested in playing, chewing sticks, than they were in hunting for her and her pups. So she took the unusual step of hunting solo. And she became such a formidable force in the park that she got the nickname of the rockstar wolf. Now, she was a collared research wolf, named the 06 female by scientists. And she led her pack, not with aggression, but with clear intelligence and by example. But she did really well for years, and then for some reason she left the boundary of the park and she was shot. I also am really interested in the story of the wolves and the history and what happens, and it's easy, two things connect, because the wolves are persecuted, they've been oppressed, they're kind of kept in this very strict framework, and these kind of ideas can perhaps cross over into some of the ideas of perhaps motherhood or how one should behave as a woman.
From the start, the gods made women different. One type is from a pig, a hairy sow, whose house is like a rolling heap of filth, and she herself, unbathed, in unwashed clothes, reposes on the shit pile, growing fat. Another type the gods made from a fox, pure evil and aware of everything. This woman misses nothing, good or bad. She notices, considers, and declares that good is bad and bad is good. Her mood changes from one moment to the next. One type is from a dog, a no-good bitch, a mother through and through, She wants to hear everything, know everything, go everywhere, and stick her nose in everything, and bark whether she sees anyone or not.